Hey guys, Bridget here. In this video, I want to talk about design salaries and what can you expect to make as a UI UX designer in 2021. Now, there's a lot of blog posts which I noticed, and even websites where they basically tell you, oh, when you have between 1 and 3 years of experience, you're gonna make X. Then between 3 to 6, you're gonna make Y, and so on and so forth. But in reality, I think that there's more variables that all those posts don't really consider. And I myself have been doing this for over 9 years now. In the past 2 years, I managed to reach the 6-figure mark. And that was in the previous year as a freelancer. So I was working for multiple clients remotely. And nowadays, I'm actually working full-time for one single client, and I also have other business endeavors on the side. Now, that being said, I want to give you my take on what do I think that really realistically make the design salary, and what are the things that you should consider whenever you're analyzing and figuring out how can you maximize your earning potentials. Now, the very first one is the type of client and their needs. This is so important. I cannot stress it enough because the type of client that you're going to reach out to is going to basically make or break your salary numbers. So you have to consider what is the cost for them. For example, if the project will fail or is delayed. If it's a low effort project or a low priority project that a client doesn't really care about, they're not going to spend as much money as if a project is a high priority or is really important for them. So let me give you a real life example. If a company runs a business which is purely local and if they have a website or they don't have a website, it doesn't really matter for their turnover. It's not going to be really important for them to spend a lot on a website. And as a business owner, I would agree on that. Why would you even need a website if you can run your business without it? Now, on the other side, let's say that you're talking to a SaaS or a tech company which has a software, maybe a SaaS software which runs online. In that case, their whole business is going to depend on the quality of that software. So the UI UX has to be perfect. They have to deliver for their clients in a very specific way. And this is going to, of course, rise the price of the potential project. So you can see how something like this is going to be really important. And I go much more in detail in these things in my courses on how to outreach, how to do portfolio and all that. But these are one of the things which are super important to consider. Also, what is the size of the company? Is it a small company with close to no funding or a large company? That is going to be another thing which you have to put into place and consider whenever you're reaching out to a specific client. Because if a small company doesn't have the budget, no matter how good of a designer you are, they're not going to be able to pay you. So that's another thing to consider. The industry, and also, do they value the design as a culture? So that's another thing that you might want to put into weight. Now, another thing which is important is the location. So where are they based? If they're based in a country where the cost of living is lower, they might as well consider to hire locals. So of course, everything is going to be balanced in comparison. But if you reach out, for example, to companies which are in countries such as the United States, or the UK, the cost of living over there usually is higher, so you can expect higher wages simply because they can afford it. So again, it's kind of like looping back on the type of client and their needs. Now, that being said, you also have to consider if you're going to work online or in an office, or if they have an office and things like that. And also, what are just the living expenses overall. So the location is going to play a big part on this as well, but not as much as the type of client and their needs, in my personal opinion. Now, another thing that you have to consider is how well you are going to do the sales and the qualification, and that's where that's basically what I teach in the course, because what you are going to convey to that specific client even before you hop on a sales call is going to play a major role in your basically in the outcome of that working relationship. And not only that, because you have to qualify the right client too. So again, if you're going to reach out to a client which is not qualified, which doesn't value design, which your design services are not as important for them, and things like if the project is not really going to make or break their business, of course the qualification is going to have an impact. So you have to qualify clients which are ideal clients that you want to work with. You don't want to hop on sales calls with any type of client. You want to work only with a few set of clients which you really enjoy working with, that you can serve them in a great way, and that you can create a long-term win-win situation where other opportunities are going to arise, and even potentially referrals which are going to basically nurture your online business, your design business in a autopilot way. So that's going to be something which is really important. So your portfolio, first of all, has to be on point, has to be tailored around the type of ideal clients that you want to serve. Then after that, you have to know how to do the outreach correctly. So basically how to reach out to them in a way that sparks interest. And you're not going to sell to them right away because you don't even know exactly what they need. So that's the reason why the first step, which I always teach, is to hop on a sales call, which I usually call it a discovery call, because it's a call where you understand their needs and you figure out if there is a fit between the two of you to create a win-win situation and a long-term working relationship, ideally. So that's basically what the major elements are when it comes to figuring out like this salary and how much money you can make as a designer. And this applies both in freelancing and contracting and, as a full-time or part-time designer. So hope this video was helpful. Hope it gave you some ideas on how to really tackle all these things. And I want to remind you that on my channel I have over 400 videos on UI UX design, so feel free to check it out. And I also recently launched a free course on how to get started in UI UX design, so I'm going to leave the link in the description. And yeah, I will see you in the next video.